Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. So I'm blessed and really happy with my guitar amp collection. However, as an old school death metal fan, I have always wanted solid state amplifiers that are synonymous with the 90s death metal music. Now there are a lot of old school death metal amplifiers. For example, there's the AMPEG VH140C, the Crate GX130C, the Marshall Valve State 8100, and the Randall RG100ES. Just to name a few, there is actually way more. However, these amps are very hard to find, and even when you find them, they tend to be very expensive because everyone wants them. And all of these amps that I mentioned are discontinued, and they are very unlikely to ever be coming back. So for someone like me, the best way to get these tones is to find an alternative. So after hours of trying to figure out what is the best alternative for example, the top tier one, the VH140C, I have decided to go for pedals. Now I have found a couple of clone amps, but none of them were actually faithful recreation of the amp. They were either going to a very generic power amp or had too many modifications. Yes, exactly. Reissue a very rare amp and modify the hell out of it and just destroy the basics of it. However, I was able to find a very faithful preamp in a box pedal, and that specific pedal is the VHD by SNK. Now, based on my research, this is the closest I could find to the original preamp found in the VH140C. Now, the VH140C is of course a solid-state amplifier, so putting that preamp into a pedal format is not that challenging. The challenge is to find someone who didn't tinker too much with the circuit. Now, as you heard, it really sounds good. Also, I want to mention that there is a very big advantage with this pedal. Basically, it's a distortion pedal and also can be used as a separate preamp. Now, depending on which amp you're using it with, you're gonna get a very different tone and a very different feeling, especially in front of a tube amp. Remember, I am using a solid-state preamp that's supposed to give you a solid-state preamp feel. However, going into a tube amp will give you more dynamics, which is kind of the best of both worlds. So using a 100-watt amp and getting that huge big sound and flavoring it with the VH140C is a great combination. Now, as I mentioned, you can use this pedal also as a separate preamp. So the way you can do this is basically going from the pedal right into the return of the amp that you're using. You're effectively bypassing the preamp of the amplifier you're using and just using the preamp of the pedal into the power amp of the tube amp. Also, you can use it with a dedicated power amp. Now, I tried this pedal as a preamp, but I didn't like it as much as liking it in the front of the amp. The reason is because I was missing those tube preamp characteristics. But I really like that I get both options. To be honest, different power amps will give you different results. However, I think this is the exciting point of having a preamp that you can fit right into any power amp because it's easy to move. So this actually would be more difficult to do with a VH140C amplifier. So this flexibility is definitely a very great bonus. Now for this video, I'm using my Gibson 80s Flying V, and it is going right into the VHD pedal, and from that pedal, I'm going into the JCM 900. Now, as you've heard, this is a very great combination. I don't care what people say about the 900, about the G12T75 speakers. They sound great, man. Now, a disclaimer, this is not a sponsored video. I have zero contact with SNK. I just like this pedal and I really wanted to share this with you guys. And to be honest, the price of this pedal is not too bad. Like, go and compare the price of this pedal with any distortion pedal on the market nowadays. And also, not to mention that this pedal does not sound like every distortion pedal on the market nowadays. Yeah. Now, SNK actually make a lot of amplifiers. These are also clones of classic designs from the 90s. However, for just the distortion pedals, they only have the VHD. Now, I really wish if someone from SNK is watching this video, maybe you should put these preamps in distortion pedals, just like the VHD, and I'm pretty sure you will get a lot of more sales. Definitely, I'll be one of them. So this is it for this video, guys. Thank you for watching. I just wanted to tell you that I really love this pedal and I wanted to share my thoughts with you. And I think you can achieve great old school death metal tones on a budget by just getting this one pedal. Now, let me know what you think in the comment section below and definitely share this video everywhere. Thank you.